Fusion 360 pro tip. If you've ever been machining a small hole in a small slot on the same part, with the same tool even, same feeds and speeds, the hole might be coming out undersized. Let me show you why and how to address it. So I'm going to go into the sketch where I have an 1/8 inch circle drawn, and just for reference, my hole and my slot are both 0.15 inches in diameter or width. So as my CNC machine has my 1/8 inch end mill, I come down in the middle of the hole, and then I sweep my end mill around the circumference of the hole. Theoretically, it should cut the hole to a perfect size, but we machinists know that that's not going to happen. Likely, what will happen is there will be some amount of material that remains uncut in this hole. The hole diameter will be left a little small. The reason is because a CNC machine is constantly moving and changing its direction. In a circle, there is no static direction being held. You are constantly changing the direction that you're moving. And because of that, your tool really doesn't have enough time to fully cut against the edge of the hole before your machine is moving your tool away from that point. It's kind of trying to hit a moving target when you're constantly changing direction, like you will always be changing direction in a hole. Contrast that, however, to a slot where I might still leave a little bit of material in the end of a slot when I'm cutting that, but normally on slots, the tolerance of the length is not important. It's the width that's important. And often what you'll find is as the tool comes around into the straightaway, now notice I'm no longer changing direction. I'm going in a straight line. And what that allows is for my CNC machine fundamentally to get my end mill right up against the side wall of this slot, and it gets to stay touching the side wall of the slot without changing direction up until the top. What that'll tend to do is fully cut to the dimension of your slot, where a hole might cut a little undersized. If you're going for tight tolerance, and especially if you're using small tooling, and these are small features, I have found very typically a hole is going to be between 2, maybe even 4/10 smaller than a slot width. So I address that in CAM. I'm not going to model the hole and the slot width to different sizes. We can address this all on the CAM side and know this preemptively. I could program the hole to cut slightly bigger than the slot, or I could program the same, run a test part, measure, and then adjust how much they were different. But regardless, the main tip here is have a separate toolpath for your hole or holes and your slot or slots. That way, when you cut your hole in your slot and you measure and your hole is small, you can just come into your hole toolpath and either give it some negative stock to leave. A radial stock to leave of 1/10,000th would make the hole 2/10 bigger. Alternatively, instead of stock to leave, you could also slow your cutting feed rate way, way down. Now, this is not going to add too much time to your program because it's such a small feature in this case, but what it allows is for your CNC machine to almost catch up, where it gives your tool more time to cut right up to the edge of the feature you're trying to cut. So I would either have my end mill cut a little bit of negative stock to leave, cut the hole a little bigger, or slow my feed rate down on the hole and I would leave the slot alone. That is, if the hole is indeed smaller than the slot. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the situation. The hole will be smaller than the slot. So um, you could preemptively assume that the hole is going to be smaller, program it that way, run it, and measure and confirm. Or you could program them the same, like I have, just with two different toolpaths. Make your first part, measure it, then come back here and address that size as needed. But this is a normal thing, so if you're wondering why is a hole in a slot machine with the same tool, maybe even in the same setup, why are they measuring different? This is why. Your CNC machine will cut more material when it's going in a straight line than when it's going in a curved line. This is how I address that. And yeah, if you guys have any other ways that you address this problem, I would love to know. Please teach me how to do this different ways, or how do you guys address this problem. Thanks for watching, guys.